Benbecula is an island of the Outer Hebrides in the Atlantic Ocean off the west coast of Scotland. In the 2011 census it had a usually resident population of 1,303, with a sizable percentage of Roman Catholics. It forms part of the area administered by Comhairle and Eilean Siar, the Western Isles Council. Etymology: the first written record of the name is as Benbecula in 1449. Historically, this name is assumed to derive from Pen Nam Fadla, Pennyland of the Fords, as the island is essentially flat. It is very similar phonetically to the unstressed form of Ben Mountain, and appears to have been subject to folk etymology reanalysis, leading to the modern forms containing Ben rather than Pen. Through process of language assimilation, the sequence has resulted in the modern pronunciation of the spelling variations Faola and Fadla are due to phonetic merger of with in certain Gaelic dialects. Spelling variants include Ben Barogla, Ben Faola, Ben Badla, Ben Fadla, Ben Faola. The second element is a loan from Norse Vadel, Ford, which was borrowed as Gaelic Fathail. Through the process of reverse lenation Fadla, with the ethnonymic suffix sac, has led to the formation of Badli, a person from Benbecula. Other interpretations that have been suggested over the years are Benbegay, Bayodla, supposedly meaning the little mountain of the ford, and Buishai, meaning the herdsman's mountain. The island is also known in Gaelic poetry as Anti Ellen Dorcha, the Dark Island. The well-known tune The Dark Island was written by accordionist Ian McLaughlin from Benbecula. Geography: the island is about 12 kilometers from west to east and a similar distance from north to south. It lies between the islands of North Uist and South Uist. It is connected to both by road causeways. Travel to any of the other Hebridean islands, or to the British mainland, is by air or sea. Benbecula Airport on the island has daily flights to Glasgow, Stornoway and Barra. A direct service to Inverness was introduced in 2006 but discontinued in May 2007. There are no direct ferry services from Benbecula to the mainland, but a service operated by Caledonian McBrain from Loch Boisdale on South Uist provides a 5-hour crossing to Oban on the mainland, whilst another service from Loch Maddie on North Uist provides a 2-hour crossing to Uig on the Inner Hebridean island of Skye, and hence to the mainland via the Skye Bridge. Ferry services from the islands of Bernary and Eriskay connect to the other Outer Hebridean islands of Harris and Barra respectively. There is a dense cluster of lochs across almost the entire island, and almost all of the island is below 20 meters in altitude. Settlements: Benbecula's main settlement is Balavanik in the northwest. It is the main administrative centre for Benbecula, North Uist, South Uist and nearby islands, and has the council offices and the administrative centre for the artillery deep-sea firing range on South Uist, which is managed by Kinetic. The village is also home to the airport and the island's bank. Other settlements include Craigstrome, a tiny hamlet in the southeast of Benbecula. In contrast to the cultivated west coast of the island, the eastern half is a mixture of freshwater lochs, moorland, bog and deeply indenting sea lochs. Craigstrome is near Ruabal, Benbecula's highest hill at 124 meters. The township of Leinacleart houses the Uist's main secondary school, which also doubles as a community centre, with a swimming pool, cafeteria, sports facilities, a small museum and a library. Next door to this is the Leinacleart campus of Lewes Castle College. Leinacleart lies on the West Coast Road, about 1 mile from its junction with the north-south Spinal Road near Creegorry. Creegorry is in the south of the island, near the causeway to South Uist. The co-op here is the main supermarket for the south of the island and for the north of South Uist. Castle is near Benbecula. The RAF radar station RH Benbecula monitors the northern Atlantic, but is located on the west coast of North US, nearby islands. In addition to the USs, there are numerous islands off the north, east and south coasts. To the north of Benbecula is Bales Hair, and further east is Florida, which is connected to Benbecula by another causeway. Beyond Florida, Grimsby and Ronne. Off the east coast, there are numerous small islands in Loch Uisageba and beyond, including Barron and Arasai Uisageba. Eilean and Siar in the southeast have a total area of 100 hectares spread over several islands, the largest of which is about 31 hectares in extent. Further south is the larger Wiay, and west from there a profusion of skerries and small islands lie to the north of Bagnam Fawalin. These include Ferrocelyn of 2nd Grimsby, Fodragai, Ellenakilla and Trialabriac. History. Castle is a ruined 14th-century tower house located at the southwest of the island. McGibbon and Ross attributed the building of the tower to Amy Macruari, the divorced wife of John of Eilean, and dated its construction to between 1344 and 1363. It was occupied by the MacDonalds of Benbecula until the early 17th century. In the early 15th century, Hugh MacDonald, third son of Alexander, Earl of Ross, was the proprietor of lands in Uis, Benbecula and Garmerin, although his tenure was opposed by Clan Ranald of Garmerin. By 1491, Clan Ranald were in possession of nearly the whole of Uist and Benbecula. In 1549, Donald Munro, Dean of the Isles, wrote of the south part of YWST and went on, and in the north side of this there is Ain Parocan Callet Buckler, pertaining to the said Clan Donald. At the north end thereof the sea cuts the country again, and the cutting of the sea is called Carinus, and benorth this country is called Kenay Nash of YWST, that is in English, the north head of YWST. Buckler is a reference to Benbecula, and Beanmoil, Beanwheel, and Benvega are other variants found in charters. A mermaid, discovered in 1830, is reportedly buried near the sea at Benbecula. Gaelic speakers. Benbecula has historically been a very strong Gaelic-speaking area. Both in the 1901 and 1921 census, all parishes were reported to be over 75% Gaelic-speaking. By 1971, Benbecula and South Uist were classed as 50 to 74% Gaelic-speaking. It remains a relatively strong Gaelic-speaking area in spite of a continued decline. In the 2001 census, Benbecula overall had 56% Gaelic speakers. The weakest Gaelic speaking area is Ballyvannick with only 37%. All other areas on Benbecula range between 74% and 62%. Community buyout. After a protracted campaign, local residents took control of parts of the island on the 30th of November 2006 in a community buyout. The previous landowners, a sporting syndicate, sold the assets of the 372 square kilometers estate including Benbecula, South Uist and Eriskay for £4.5 million to a community-owned organisation known as Storers Uavist, which was set up to purchase the land and to manage it in perpetuity. In 2001 the census recorded a population of 1,219, the 2011 total of 1,303 being an increase of 7% against an average of 3% for all Scottish islands.